Welcome back to Level 6 Math. I'm Mr. C, and today we're looking at our Saxon Math Lesson 68. Now this is another lesson where we're going to take a bunch of things that we learned in the past, apply them, put them together to do a new thing. Today we're going to be dividing mixed numbers. We're going to be using reciprocals. We're going to be using what we've done recently to solve arithmetic problems by putting them into a new shape first and then doing the problem and then simplifying. So we're going to use that three-step process. We're going to be changing mixed numbers to improper fractions. So these are all things that we've done over the last few weeks, but now we're putting them all together. So this is a building lesson. All right. So remember those three steps with the arithmetic. Put the problem in its correct shape. So that would usually mean taking a mixed number and changing it into an improper fraction. Then perform the operation. Today that's going to be either multiplying, I think they're all multiplying today, and then simplify, changing that back to a mixed number and reducing. So that's what we'll be doing today, but we're doing it with division problems. So Sean is pouring 2 2/3 cups of a plant food into equal amounts to feed 4 plants. How much plant food is there for each? So we're going to rewrite that, as 2 2/3 divided by 4, all right? So step 1 is let's change 2 2/3 back into an improper fraction. So we're going to take that 2 2/3 using the circle method. 3 times 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. So that's going to be 8/3 divided by 4 over 1. So now we have both improper fractions. We've rewritten it. Now we have to solve that. Now remember, anytime we divide by a fraction, that's the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. I love reciprocals. So we're just going to, instead of divide by 4 over 1, we're just going to multiply by 1 over 4. That's pretty easy. 8/3 times 1/4, 8 times 1 is 8, 3 times 4 is 12. We get 8/12. Now we can just reduce that because we don't have a bigger number on top. So we're not going to change it back to an improper fraction, or it is an improper fraction. We're not going to change it back to a mixed number because it's just a fraction. So all we have to do is reduce. The common factor here is 4, so 8 divided by 4 is 2, 12 divided by 4 is 3, so we get 2 over 3, and our answer is 2/3. And we can think about this. If we divide it by 4, to check our work, we multiply it by 4, so 2/3 times 4, and we could just think 2/3, that's almost 1, plus almost 1, plus almost 1, plus almost 1. That's going to be, less than 3, and it checks out. It's going to be 2 2/3 if we add those all up together. We could also just do 2 plus 2 plus 2 plus 2. That's going to be 8/3, which is 2 2/3. Okay. All right, so let's divide 2 2/3 by 1 1/2. Same method here. First, we'll change it to improper fractions. Then we will divide. Then we'll change it back if we need to mixed numbers, or we'll just reduce. So 2 2/3, 3 times 2 is 6, plus 2 is 8/3. And then we'll divide that by 2 times 1 is 2, plus 1 is 3/2. So we'll get that as 8/3 divided by 3/2. Now remember, dividing by a fraction is the same as multiplying by its reciprocal. So let's just flip that upside down and multiply it by 2/3. Woohoo! So we have 8/3 times 2/3. 8 times 2 is 16. 3 times 3 is 9. So we get 16/9. That one we can change back to a mixed number. 9 goes into 16 only one time, because if it was 2, it'd be 18. So we get 1 with how many left? Let's see. 7 left, so 1 7/9. Yeah, so that's what it is. And that's the whole assignment. So this one's not too bad. It's just taking a bunch of things we've learned and now putting them together. The hardest thing about this one is understanding the word problems. And that's why we do this in school, is because you get out into the real world and you have different problems and you're like, how would I solve that? And you're not going to remember always, oh yeah, I have to change it to improper fractions, and then I need to, do the procedure, and then I need to reduce or simplify. But the more we practice this now, the more second nature will be in the future, so that you'll be able to figure those out when you face real problems like this. Okay? Thanks. Bye.